Alright, start waving. Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. You know me. Okay, no, you don't, but you know who I am. I'm Mr. J, and alongside me, as always,
is your Smart Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Champion of Picking Things, Liam Landry.
yes, and
who won it from the Heart of All Out combo.
Indeed, it was a very close predictions contest that day. By 2 points, he got the win. Kind of like how the next day for the Saints season opener, they got the win by 2 points, barely. So you gave the Saints their hope that they needed, and now they got their victory. But yeah. So, we're here for another episode of Shooting with the Smarky family. It's our podcast that we do, and yeah.
Tiny family today.
It's a tiny family today. A lot of times it is, though, especially around this time of year.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's okay, because I love hanging out with my brother, Liam Landry here.
See, at this point, they were changing the sex pig. We're watching the Will Ospreay amazing red match that that just somewhat recently came onto the New Japan World Network.
Yeah, and we're also going to be doing our podcast at the same time.
Yeah.
It's usually what we've started doing now. Hey, is that red juice?
Yeah.
Yay, red juice. But anyways, before we fully get into the show, how was your week this week, Liam?
Okay, I guess we got some terrible news from events from last night. I don't know if you heard.
I don't think I did.
I'll brace yourself for this. BoJack Horseman lost that
Oh, wow.
to The Simpsons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not only is it bad news, but it's like bad news, and then they rub dirt in your wound.
Yeah,
It's like they cut you open, and then they put a parasite inside.
Yeah, no one's even 100% sure where it came from. I saw people pointing out that on IMDb, that's the combined rating score. For people, you had the Simpsons episode, the soap, the toy one, whatever it was like, what, maybe 6 out of 10 or something, compared to the 9.5 out of 10 of Creature World. So it's like, and not to mention the Simpsons episode only had like 400 reviews compared to like 4,000.
Wow.
But like at least over 1,000 reviews for BoJack Horseman.
4,000 reviews, and it's still at a 9.5.
Yeah, I definitely know it was over 1,000. But I saw this morning. I was searching on Twitter instead of sleeping, and couldn't sleep after that. Completely disgusted. Completely, it's just hard to handle that BoJack Horseman lost that.
Completely and totally. Now you kind of rubbed a bad, like you put a bad taste in my mouth as well. So I thought the week was okay, but then this, oh man. My week consisted of watching Survivor with my girlfriend. We finished season 13, and it was a really good season of Survivor, one of their best. And then we also started season 14, and then I've been catching up with American Horror Story Coven. So when it comes to media, I've been watching it. I've had my little projects I've been trying to catch up on, and then went to a baby shower last night with my girlfriend. Her sister is having a baby boy, and I think that's pretty much all that really happened, other than a lot of work. Yeah, that was my week.
Yeah.
So you ready to get into the show proper?
Yeah, definitely. Let's do this.
All right. So.
So also, quick shout out to
Yes.
To Ash Ketchum for winning his first Pokemon League.
As in from the show?
Yeah.
You finally got a actual league?
Yeah, League Championship.
Oh, cool.
For the Lowland region.
When are they gonna change Ash completely and just let him be a gym leader?
When the show's over. I mean, they say that's the big reason. Well, it's speculated that's the big reason why he's never won the actual championship, because then you have to be the champion and then you can't really leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what this means going forward for the show.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of good anime shows where they find your protagonist finally gets to win, and then they focus on a completely new protagonist, and they either become the next big boss or they come in later on to be the guide. So for the next generation, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's time to get into the show, and as always, we start off of the show with news outside of the WWE. And just like it sounds, if it's WWE related, we're not covering it here because it's news anywhere else. Which one did you want to start off with?
I'll let you take the go for the update for the
Stardom?
Yes.
Alright, for the 5-star Grand Prix, I cannot believe you did this to me, Twitter. For the 5-star Grand Prix, we're going to update your bracket, and a lot of it has been surprising, and I think Liam here is going to be a little bit surprised at who's the leaders are for some of the people. Okay, let's put you in landscape because it's a lot easier to see this way. Alrighty, going with the top of the card, there are 5 competitors in the red bracket with 8 points at the lead.
Quick thing there, I actually undersold it. This was the IMDb. It was 6,600. 9.85 stars.
Well over
6,600.
well over 6,000, and it's 9.8.
Yeah, 5 stars.
That's what's up.
And Mad About the Toy is a 5.7 with 408 reviews.
And you overstated them.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
But that's the outstanding animated show.
Simpsons.
Yes,
That's
that particular episode is the most outstanding episode.
That is such a
Animated
that is so wrong.
Yeah,
so many levels. All right, here we go. We're gonna update the card for you. It is number 5 people with 8 points, and they're still in the competition to win. It is Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki, Momo Watanabe, who I am personally rooting for in the red bracket, Tom Nakano, and AZM. Next, with 6 points, there's only one. It's Hana Kimura. She has been knocked out of the tournament. And with 4 points, one of them is Saki Kashima. She's obviously been knocked out. And who's really been knocked out? Natsumire and Avery. Both with only 2 points. And not surprising, your leaders here, especially Mayu Iwatani and Hazuki. But I'm really hoping Momo Watanabe actually pulls out the victory here and gets the 2 wins she needs. That would be awesome. And now for one that is a lot more surprising, we have in the lead with 10 points. Who do you think it is?
Don't know.
Well, if you were hoping it was B. Priestley, or if you were thinking it's still Jungle Kiona, you will be sadly mistaken, because it is Jamie Hayter. Out of nowhere, Jamie Hayter has only lost 2 of her matches, and with 1 to go, if she wins, she's going on and winning the blue, which is crazy. 10 points, Jamie Hayter. I was shocked to see that. Right behind with 8 points, there are 1, 2, 3. It's Arisa, Hoshiki, Kagetsu, and Konami. And then with 6 points, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. And those are your B. Priestley, Jungle Kiona, Utami Hayashida, and Andras Miyagi. And then the one all the way at the end, who only has 2, it's Natsuko Tora. I was really shocked to see that basically Jamie Hayter's probably coming away with this in the blue side. That one was a complete shock when I saw that update today, or last night. I was like, whoa, I think Liam's going to be kind of surprised about this one. Because basically, Jungle Kiona is completely out. She's done. She cannot get better than 6. All of her matches are done. B. Priestley has 2 matches left, and one of them is against Jamie Hayter. And if Jamie Hayter and B. Priestley, that's Jamie Hayter's last match. If she wins on the 22nd, she's in. She goes. So it'd be interesting to see who's going to win that match. B either needs to win in order. I think it's going to be B versus Jamie to see. It was a surprising, no matter how you look at it. But a really cool outcome. And on the red side, there's still a whole bunch more that could actually take the victory here. Again, I'm rooting for Momo Watanabe because I really like her name. It's Momo. That's a fun little name. Your quick thoughts on the.
Yes, I guess that's a interesting run there, but we still don't know a lot about the wrestlers there, so it's difficult to really make a lot of informed opinions, I guess you would say.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yes.
Quite possibly after this. After this whole Grand Prix is over, I'll probably be getting the actual access to watch shows, and you'll get some access to watch shows as well.
That sounds good. Okay, we'll go into the next topic. It's covering an event from last night, and that was GCW presents Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 2. This event was taking place in the Showboat Atlantic City in, guess what, Atlantic City, New Jersey. I was surprised by that. Going off of Wrestling Inc. and their coverage of it, so I give them credit for that. So we go down. There was a pre-show for free, but that was free to watch. But I'm just going to kind of cover the main show itself, the matches there. First match of the main show, we had Zachary Wentz versus Anthony Henry, and that was won by Anthony Henry. Next we had a match between Eric Hammer and J.R. Kratos. That was won by Eric Hammer. That was some really good names there, ring names. Hammer or Kratos. You feel like you can't go wrong with good ring names, right? Then next match, Nicole Savi versus Allison Kay. That was won by Allison Kay. Then we had the next match, Anthony Carvalelli versus Simon Grimm. And Simon Grimm, that's actually, if I remember correctly, I think that's the new name for Simon Gotch. Now on the Independents, that's what he mostly uses there. But this was won by Anthony Carvalelli. So after that, you had Timothy Thatcher versus Hihushi Manoa, won by Timothy Thatcher, which is good, so I don't have to pronounce the other name again. Don't mess it up again. Then we had Davey Boy Smith Jr. versus Filthy Tom Lawler. interesting matchup. I don't know if they ever had matches before. They both on MLW, you know, so it could be possible, but it didn't happen. And this was won by Davey Boy Smith Jr. And you know that's pretty big. We didn't talk about it before, but Bloodsport is a concept of blending both MMA and wrestling together. And since this one was won by knockout by Davey Boy Smith Jr., he's kind of the bigger guy there. But Tom Lawler is, of course, a UFC, UFC MMA veteran. So it was good for him. Then we had Killer Cross versus Nick Gage. I think we've seen Killer Cross before, right?
He's on Impact, I believe.
I know.
Or was on Impact.
I know Nick Gage for his hardcore wrestling. He was the one who actually had that match with, what's the actor's name?
I know who you're talking about. The one who got his throat cut and.
Yeah, that was the match against him there. But this was won by Killer Cross. Then the main event, as it seems, is Chris Dickinson versus Josh Barnett. You know, the actual namesake for the show. There, and he does come out as the winner, Josh Barnett. So so that was a coverage of that. It should be something to check out. And now knowing there is a free pre-show, and it was aired on Fight TV. So you can at least check out the pre-show to get the idea of it. I'm assuming that all of the matches had the same concept to them. So you can really check that out, get the idea of if that's something that you need to before watching the pay-per-view. So it could be interesting to see.
We might throw that on in a little bit just to check out what they have to offer. It's always cool to get to see different promotions and different styles.
Yeah.
But yes, so that sounds like a really interesting card, and a lot of those names I was surprised I actually know. And that was awesome.
Yeah, really great catch there by Will Ospreay. But yeah, you were saying you know a lot of those names.
Like Timothy Thatcher, I know that name. Nick Gage.
He's Timothy Thatcher. He's part of like the British wrestling thing, right?
I think so.
That's why I heard from him. Heard of him before too. But then I think I probably may have said stuff about Tom Lawler.
Oh yeah, you definitely. Yeah.
So I think he's a really good, wrestler. Good, character-wise and wrestling-wise, So.
And of course, the Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Right.
A part of one of your favorite factions in MLW.
Just don't know if he has a cat though. He's gotta have a cat to be part of it. Well, that means if Natalia leaves WWE, she can then also join the faction.
Because not only does she have the same bloodline as most of them,
she has a cat.
Exactly. She has more than one.
Yes. Yeah, that's.
Wait, which one is she married to? Oh, she's married.
Tyson Kidd.
Yeah, Tyson Kidd.
Who can join because career-ending injuries due to a bad muscle buster.
That was a nice twisted tornado DDT.
Yeah. But it's still interesting. She would definitely get my approval if the first thing she does is like check one of the cats out of the window.
Oh my gosh!
But not like not for a dangerous thing, but like Davey Boy Smith is down there and catches the cat.
Wait, what is? It wasn't Davey Boy. Who's the other one?
Yeah, Teddy.
Teddy.
Yes.
It was him. He threw his cat and made him do a backflip onto the bed. Yeah, I was like, what the heck?
Even my cat does flips.
That was funny. But, so moving on to the last thing. And this is probably the most, the hardest one to really talk about. Aussie Open, which is Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis, had a match against Josh Bodum and Shaw Samuels, and it was at the Summer Sizzler on August 30th in the UK. Aussie Open won. However, they won prematurely. They're supposed to have 5 more minutes left in the match, but one of the guys of his opponents did not kick out. Don't remember which one it was, but still, that's a pretty big deal. That's not good. After that, in order to get their heat back, because Shaw Samuels and Josh Bodum they are heels, they decided to attack the ref, which was not planned. The ref did not know about it, and they did moves on him, and he injured himself. He had to go to the doctor. He had to actually quit his coaching job because of it, or at least go on leave, and that really messed him up. Because of this, Rev Pro, because this is Rev Pro's show, they fired Josh Bodum. He is out of the company, and they gave Shaw Samuels his last warning. Immediately following, Shaw Samuels did go on Twitter and apologize to what he did, but this is very, very bad. You do not put your hands on people if one, it's not already okayed in the future, and two, when they aren't completely trained to be taking bumps and getting attacked like that. So it was wrong and egregious, and Shaw really has to step up and really watch his back, because it's possible he's done for if something else big happens. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's a real crazy event there. We don't want to see people get injured because of lack of professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
So people should definitely try to keep their hands to themselves.
100%. Anything else left to add outside the WWE?
Not of my knowledge.
Alright. Well, then we're going to move on to news inside of the WWE. It's our second segment, and, well, it's what we just said. News inside the WWE.
How about we start off with a light one?
Okay.
Go away from that one, and it's actual news about John Cena. Mr. John Cena, if you have not heard, he has been officially cast as a part of the Suicide Squad 2 movie, directed by James Gunn for Warner Brothers and their the DC EU. So that's we don't know which what character he's going to play. That has not been announced yet. But we can take guesses. A lot of people were guessing super villains with invisibility powers. But who knows? I don't know if James Gunn.
Oh, what a sell!
I don't know if James Gunn is necessarily up to date with all this wrestling memes and stuff. So I don't know.
Well, if you saw the Twitter post of it, the amount of people who took that cast list and took out John Cena's name just to make oh wow, there's one missing, I can't see him. And it's like, oh man, the amount of John Cena memes were crazy.
And of course, he's also joining other former pro wrestler in Dave Bautista, but he was already announced very early on. There.
His name was actually not on that list at all.
That's interesting. I don't know if it ever ends up falling out or something. Because I know it was a big deal for him because he was doing it after being upset about James Gunn's firing from Disney. Because originally he was supposed to be playing King Shark in there.
Maybe because James Gunn came back to Marvel, he was like, okay, I won't do the DC movie. I don't know.
Could happen something.
The one thing, or maybe not, because Sean Gunn was also in that list, as well as Michael Rooker, as well as there's one more, Taika Waititi. So many MCU names are in this movie.
Yeah.
James Gunn, obviously directing it. Let me see if I can find it, and you can go into the next bit of news about Elias and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, we're dealing with two injuries here for Elias and Drew McIntyre. It's a real upsetting thing, especially since Elias seemed to be in some programs with Kevin Owens and stuff, being a lot aligned with Shane McMahon. So hopefully he's not out for too long, doesn't slow him down too much. Drew McIntyre, sadly enough, has not really been doing as much, and man, he really missed that there. He had him like by the hands, went up to the top rope, and then like a Arabian press flip over and grabbed him for a DDT.
And you just missed the craziest Code Red I've ever seen. He did a flip. Amazing Red did a flip, and it looked like Will was gonna catch him, but he goes backwards and flips him all the way around. That was, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to watch this match again, without a doubt.
But yeah, so
found it. Yeah, so Sean Gunn, Taika Waititi, Michael Rooker, Idris Elba. Idris Elba was the other one. And they have Idris Elba. That is so many of them.
Yeah, I think that was one said earlier before.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was speculated that he was going to be kind of replacing Will Smith as Deadshot.
Mm-hmm. There were people who said that, and then some other people who are actually thinking that he's going to be a completely different character. So we won't know until we see it. The speculation, though, until it all happens, I think it's going to be fun. And I'm hoping it's so much better than the first one, because I know the first one was very disappointing for so many people.
So people are also hoping for Kite Man to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have Kite Man, hell yeah. It's from the comic books too. So.
But yeah, as you were saying before, Drew McIntyre, he suffered an injury, and he went to get surgery, which is why he was not on Raw at all this past week. And then Elias was injured, which is why he was not in the finals of the King of the Ring and not on SmackDown this past week, which is a shame.
Yeah, so we hope that they have a full recovery
and speedy recovery as well. Yeah, and that completely sucks. I think Drew McIntyre's was on his arm, and then Drew McIntyre's was on his arm, and then it was an ankle injury for Elias.
Damn you, Kurt Angle. But anyways, yes. So there's that. Who may be upset with the new Suicide Squad is DJ.
Mm-hmm.
He liked the original one. He also liked Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah, he's completely out.
Yeah, not to be in there. So at least Harley Quinn's gonna be in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think too many people thought she was a positive light for that movie. A lot of people really liked her. And then we still get Jai Courtney. A lot of people hate on Jai Courtney unfairly, because he's cast in all these roles where he has to have an American accent, and he's from Australia, and he's not the best at doing an American accent, and it sucks that, because I've seen a few movies he's been in where he's actually really, really good at acting.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen most reviews say that this was the first time those people liked Jai Courtney, so in the first Suicide Squad one. Because he plays Australian-born Captain Boomerang.
Exactly, which is really...
Yeah, actually, he completely changed him now. Now he's the most American supervillain ever.
Oh, let's hope not. But, yeah, let's go into the next new segment for We went on a wild tangent for Suicide Squad 2. But yeah, also, both guys, we hope you guys get healed up real quick. Next thing inside of the WWE is, what was the other two things we mentioned? Because we had 3.
Yeah, it was just, wow, because I was just thinking for it as well.
Because we're going to have another video.
We have, oh yes, I remember. It's they say shutting down, but it's, I guess you can look at it more as a merger of 205 Live and NXT. It's not going to have a dedicated 205 Live brand, and instead all of the cruiserweights on there are going to go to NXT. It's not sure about cruiserweights on other parts of the main roster. If they're going to,
I think they're just going to stay.
They're probably just going to stay.
Like Buddy Murphy, Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander, and the Lucha House Party, I think, except for Lince Dorado, is going to be moved to NXT. I think Grand Metalik and Kalisto are going to stay on main roster. But yeah, it's a shame. I used to do reviews for 205 Live, and it got to the point where it was I was doing so much that I overworked myself, and if this was my job and I was able to focus on this, it would have been a completely different story. But I had other what is the word?
Obligations?
Yes, other obligations on top of this, which made it harder to actually continue on with it, which was a shame, and it almost broke my spirit entirely. But back at it again, doing it in a different way to where it's not a huge stress on myself and on the other guys. We already know there's no stress on DJ at all. But anyways, back to the main point. It's a shame 205 Live is going, because so many people who watch and review it love that show, because you get a lot of great talent. The Brian Kendrick, one of my favorite wrestlers, my absolute favorite wrestler, actually. The British guy, oh my gosh, my brain is not going to be able to pull him. But we had Noam Dar there. We had Lince Dorado, who was amazing. Drew Gulak, your champion. Tony Nese, huge fan of him. Gallagher, Jack Gallagher. That's the British lad I was talking about. He is great. And it's just so many great wrestlers there. I'm glad they're not going to be just completely let go. I'm glad they're going to be merging, because, I mean, a second hour could be dedicated to 205 Live, or maybe half an hour, or maybe 2 matches can be dedicated to the cruiserweights for this new 2-hour block for USA's debut of NXT, which happens this Wednesday, my friend. That's going to be pretty big. That's going to be, I guess that's another big newsworthy thing. The new NXT USA deal starts this Wednesday, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's a shame 205 Live is going away completely, or at least its own banners going away completely. But again, at least the wrestlers are still going to have a job. Your final thoughts?
One would hope that this allows the wrestlers on there to, hey, an old picture with Minoru Suzuki in there versus the main guy.
So that's Josh Barnett?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's Josh Barnett. But yeah, but hopefully this still allows them to have the actual exposure.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get lost on an NXT brand.
Exactly.
And it also, hopefully doesn't mean that the NXT wrestlers aren't going to get lost as well. Because you think that, well, you got 2 hours, maybe that would mean they give more time for people who don't get TV time and just do the live shows. But now with this, maybe that means they just go back to just doing live shows. because of the mass overabundance of I think that was the main event from last year too, Suzuki versus Judgment.
Mm-hmm.
But so hopefully it just doesn't become a mass.
Mm-hmm.
All the NXT is so massive with the amount of people that it just has on the live show circuit that hopefully that you would thought 2 hours be more into that, but now we don't know, and we'll see how it goes, and we'll also see how it shakes up because we're going to have a draft coming in October. Though I would say one interesting thing, didn't necessarily say when I saw it on the Twitter post from WWE, they said Raw and SmackDown are going to be part of the draft. It doesn't necessarily say NXT. So some people have speculated before if they were going to have drafts allow people to go from the main roster back down to NXT, but they have not said if that's even a possibility. And they may not want to say it, maybe leave it to a surprise.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm glad you remember because that was the third bit right there. In October, after all is said and done, another draft. It's going to be interesting to see. It really is. Who's going to go where? Is Big Dog going back to Raw? Is he going to stay on SmackDown? What is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, with the two companies competing over their top stars and everyone showing up on there. So hopefully...
Is that Dan Severn?
Yeah, that was Dan Severn.
Holy crud.
He was also there last year. Dan the Beast Severn.
It's going to be interesting to see what everything plays out and if they're going to end up just not sticking to their rules yet again, because WWE is notorious for that.
I think Meltzer has said before that the plan was to stop the wild cards for when they actually do the split, because just the companies themselves didn't want to have that. So. So, anyways, anything more to say about news with WWE?
Other than Clash of Champions is tonight, and we're going to be watching streaming. Not really. Definitely been a slow news week. Yeah. And we'll talk more about Clash of Champions in our next video after this one, which is when we make our predictions, which is going to be fun. I have not been... Huh?
See, the subtitle there is Bloodsport 2, The Quickening.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Might have been better if it was Bloodsport 2, Bloodsport Boogaloo.
That's going to be the third one. But yeah, so let's move on to the next segment. It is the best segment of the week. And what is yours, good sir?
I will give it up to the match that we just watched there. We technically missed little parts of it, but the Amazing Red Ospreay match.
From all those stuff that we did get to see, I will also agree with you because that was a great match. What's some of your favorite parts about it?
Well, they had just really great athleticism there. I thought Will Ospreay did a good bit, kind of almost portraying as a heel as most, showing the power dynamic difference. So that was a good thing to show there, but they also had a lot of passion and a lot of build, and we didn't really get to hear about watch a little bit earlier. The crowd reaction was really helped that be a real thing and be really great to hear. So, Trolls Live.
Is that really a play now?
It must be something happening at Madison Square Garden.
Crazy.
I wonder if they do better ticket sales than WWE.
I don't know. But yeah, the kind of things I really loved about it is somehow they would go for a flip, it'd be countered, and then they would reverse counter it into a different flip or a different move. I thought they had really great chemistry together. It was really, really cool. If you haven't seen it, and I say go out of your way to find this match, it was amazing. I didn't really watch a lot of wrestling this week. Decided to take a week off because I've just been really busy, and I'm like, nah, take a week off. Next week I'll jump back into the wacky world of professional wrestling, or at least tonight I will. That was an easy, quick segment. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to Are You Serious? It's where we take a rant, and we rant. Or if we don't really have anything to rant about, we praise something in the WWE. Did you want to start off today?
To be honest with you, I don't know if I have anything. Did you have anything?
I have one thing.
One thing?
And it is actually something for Mr. Bray Wyatt. I want to praise him for his work on The Fiend. It is actually really intriguing, actually really amazing, and everybody is really enjoying what he's doing. The Firefly Funhouse is one of the best backstage segments. It's definitely different than all your normal minutia that you have to get to see on the show. And also the threat of him coming out on the main event match, or the threat of him doing something on this show is still there. I'm pretty sure it was not supposed to be announced that he was going to be wrestling either Braun Strowman or Mr. Seth Rollins. I think that was a mess up on the promoter's part or whatever. But because that happened, they're able now to take and run with this story. And I want to see something really cool happen. Besides all that, I think he's doing a great job in both the Fiend and TV presenter Bray Wyatt gimmicks. The dual dynamics are really, really good. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen tonight. If anything, I'm interested to see if what's going to happen for Hell in a Cell. I'm intrigued about all this, and I want to give Bray Wyatt and WWE props for holding back and not going too crazy, too fast, too soon. So good job, both of you guys, especially Bray Wyatt, and I can't wait to see what WWE have for you in the future.
And to give some good praise there to that guy's mustache.
Yeah, that's a pretty
pretty big and a pretty thick mustache there. I also gotta give some criticisms to that one announcer's tie. Did you see that? It was so wide.
I missed it. I did miss it. Was it the shorter black dude?
No, he had a bow tie.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to see then. But yeah.
Yes, but I do also have some criticisms, of course, to the Emmys.
You know what?
Emmys.
Go for it. Just rant about the Emmys. Why not?
I don't even know what to say. It's just still more disappointing than anything else. But how in the world does Free Churro not win the Emmy for it? I mean, it's giving out churros for free. BoJack Horseman on Twitter did an entire billboard campaign of people sending in billboards for him to win Emmys. That's the way I found out it was from Twitter, from his thing. Where he tweeted yesterday, did it win the Emmy yet? And then quote tweeted that saying, this really looks bad now, and kind of, or something like that. But it was like, no. And it's like Simpsons. I think the Simpsons, had enough, enough stuff in there. They don't need more awards, especially because they're not very good anymore. You just can't have you can't go and say like I feel like maybe they were like, well, it was about PTSD, from Grandpa. So the character that's like been the joke this whole time and been like a joke and stupid, they're like, oh, but now he had PTSD because of the war. We never talked about it beforehand or exhibited or anything or did anything other than make a joke out of him. Even when he was in situations where he was upset or like skittish or something, like if he like heard something and like got angry at it, or like, oh, what's that? They just made it into a joke, even though that could have just been a symptom of the PTSD. Now knowing about it in hindsight. So, but it does one little thing to try to get deep, even though it's never been brought up before and probably wouldn't be brought up afterwards, and he gets an award for it. Even though the 5 seasons worth of growth and build to Free Churro's monologue of continuity and complex writing to make a realized character where nothing in here came off as different or weird or just for this episode, because it's a complete character arc. It's
one of those things. It's one of those episodes where you just get completely lost, and close to the end, you're like, wait a minute, they have not cut away from this character or this setting at all. Is this going to be the whole episode? And then the episode ends, and you're like, wow, just wow. And then just all the things that you were saying, and the fact that it's like you said, the one kind gesture I've ever had is when that guy gave me a free churro. And it's like, dang it. I'm just as outraged as you are.
Like the full line is like, in that moment I understood that, this woman giving me, this random woman giving me a free churro was nicer than anything my mom's ever done for me for my entire life. And it's like, I even love the start of that story when he's talking about it and saying, most people, they ask you, how you doing, and you just say okay, even though if you're not actually okay, but you just say that because it's not more complicated to say otherwise. That's something I feel a lot of people, deal with. And like I said, it's all built up. You had comedy, you had emotions, drama, the ICU. Like, is that not the most heartfelt thing? When he's there and realized, I see you. She was in the ICU. And he's like, how can you get any more, heartbreaking than that? Yeah, but yes. Yeah, I also think I saw something about, I'm not sure though, I can't back it up. I think, like, best voiceover award, there was a voiceover award for the Emmys was won by Seth MacFarlane at the time. Instead of, once again, I don't even know if he was even up for the part.
I feel Will Arnett should have been nominated.
He literally got an award at an animated, the Annies, the animated award show for most outstanding voiceover performance for Free Churro. It's literally a giant monologue. That's something that I would see from in the future, people going into acting school doing for their monologues. Like it's a world class monologue, and if someone can realistically go through that, and it goes so smoothly, and like I said, Johnson's from some things, it's just a massive travesty. Especially if he wasn't nominated for it, it's an even bigger travesty. But it's terrible. One good news we could probably come up from this is maybe we'll get an announcement for the next season. But it's really terrible. The Emmys should feel bad for this because the Emmys clearly suck and don't actually know what's going on.
Exactly.
Clearly the voters must have been like, I don't know any of these shows, so let me go with The Simpsons. That's the only one I recognize.
It's almost as if they didn't even watch the episode.
Yeah. Some people, like, it wasn't, a 100% in-lock thing, Some people were like, oh, maybe it'll go to, I think, Adventure Time was having its season, series finale. Some people thought maybe it will go there. You never know. but it wasn't even something like that. It wasn't even something that people thought was like really good and could compete. I think Bob's Burger had an episode on the nominees list, and it's like there's ones where it's like could have lost, and it's like, you know, I feel that it was off, but maybe I can understand. It was one that I'm sure most people, even most critics, would view as the most inferior of the list, and it's just completely ridiculous. And like I said, I feel it has a lot to do with name recognition and also the idea of it being like, this is about PTSD, you know. So it's, but you know, even reminds me of those points where Family Guy started to try to get into real topics, but did them haphazardly, and you know, didn't even keep up with the idea. Like when they talked about domestic abuse, then a few episodes later, they bring up Meg being emotionally abused by her family, and then she's like, I don't know if you've seen the episode, but she stands up for herself, and then the whole family starts breaking down. She's like, I understand it now. They had to focus their attention on me. I need to be abused by them. So this was like 2 episodes after their domestic abuse episode, and now they have a character saying, no, the abuse is good. It needs to happen. So it kind of almost reminds me of that. That it's just, you know, almost Emmy bait type things where it's just out of nowhere, out of context. You know, it's not following any already existing characters. It's just random stuff to try to get an broad emotional appeal.
Yeah, South Park sometimes does that, where they just bring something out of nowhere, but then they keep that going. And it's not just completely out of nowhere. Like Kenny's death was a running joke, and in order to keep that joke going, they updated it with his family, his mom and dad sacrificed or gave the kid's soul already to a demon they worshipped. Yeah, and then turns out he can never die, and his friends don't ever remember that he has died whenever it happens. So, and then they keep that going, and then they add more new stuff to it. Whereas South Park will just be like, not South Park, Family Guy or Simpsons would just add something just for an Emmy bait, and then just completely disregard it episodes down the line. It's crazy to me.
Absolutely ridiculous. You know, BoJack definitely deserved it. Everyone that's watched BoJack knows this.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Some people who've probably never watched BoJack understands it.
In protest, we are going to make all of our family and friends watch BoJack Horseman.
Yes.
Just to make the everyone just seem really feel ridiculous for snubbing them the way they did. Let's get on to more happier things. And no, we cannot book BoJack Horseman winning the Emmy. That's not how this works. I'm sorry.
We couldn't be like, get backstage like Todd and Mr. Peanut Butter and just mess up everything. Just pick them ourselves.
That was so funny. That was a good scene. That was a good season.
The most funny part of it is the underlying part that is that they had to just kind of come out and say it because like no one really just seemed that it was odd that all these things were happening. Because it's like the Oscars are so random. It's like, yeah, okay. It's like,
yeah. So it's the book it ourselves. Is where we take something fun within wrestling and we book it ourselves. There's Clash of the Champions, and we are gonna take one of those champions. We're gonna take Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. Let's take both of them. The end goal is to have, again, it's to build up for Survivor Series. Not as far down the line as we did with the women's tag match last week. So we're gonna take Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. The match tonight, all the way to Hell in a Cell to Survivor Series, where it's Team Becky Lynch versus Team Sasha Banks.
I was just seeing one point there, and it's like, man, if only we did have Kanye West like out there tonight to come out and it's like, I'm gonna let you finish, Simpsons, but BoJack Horseman had the greatest episode of animated television of all time. Like, it's too bad he had to be in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about that?
Oh my, what happened?
Well, he bought a farm out in Wyoming there, moving out there.
Oh, okay.
Because he wants to live a life as a farmer now.
Interesting. Kanye West is such an interesting individual.
And a gay fish.
And a gay fish, yes. Well, I mean,
I am not Aquaman. I am friends with Aquaman. But I am not Aquaman.
But yeah, alright, so Clash of Champions.
I'm not married to a hobbit.
So Clash of Champions. Keep in mind, they don't have to both be in Hell in a Cell against each other, but who wins, who gets the championship, what's going to happen there?
I feel the only way to go with it is for Sasha Banks to win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the way to drive the storyline further. I don't feel if the face goes over here that it would lead much to it. So I think Sasha Banks has to win the title. What about you?
I'm just gonna say that I like that idea, and because of that, I want a different face to come out and challenge her for the championship at Hell in a Cell. It's gonna be one that people don't really see coming. Dana Brooks.
Oh
well, Dana Brooks comes out, she does her flip, and she's like, I want a shot. I've never actually ever had a shot at the Women's Championship.
Well, she's saying that she's just doing flips the entire time.
I mean, do you want her to get super over? I mean, I guess we do.
Yeah, we want her to get super over.
So, and Sasha Banks is like, you know what? Fine. We're going to have a championship match inside Hell in a Cell. So they're actually going to be inside Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, Sasha does this as an intimidation factor, dodging her for some time.
Mm-hmm.
Then said, I'll challenge you, but it has to be in Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
And, she says that, then, attacks her afterwards with a steel chair, saying, like, this is what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So she's trying to intimidate her, but Dana's like, I'm not going to be intimidated. I'll go to hell and back to get that title.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, WWE, we're giving you free money here. I mean, anyways, so they're the ones inside Hell in a Cell. What's going to be Becky's motivation? What's going to happen with her?
Well, I'm assuming that Sasha Banks still going to be doing stuff with Bayley.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that it's going to be trying to corral Bayley from trying to interfere in Hell in a Cell. Like, she's going to try to do things, like try to break into it, try to assist her, so Becky Lynch has to come out and re-even the odds again.
Mm-hmm.
And I see, like, Bayley, she's going to have, like, bolt cutters trying to, like, she'll break through, and it's going to help lead to a situation where Sasha Banks is going to try to escape and run up the steel cage. Like, first she's going to try to escape, but, like, Becky Lynch is going to scare her back off. She's going to try to go for the crowd, but then Dana Brooke is like, she's right there, she just make her way out there, so she's going to go, and they're going to fight on top of the steel cage, the Hell in the Cell.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have a situation where maybe even we have someone going off the Hell in the Cell cage. I feel like Sasha Banks want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, what do you think?
Yeah, I like that, but I also like the idea of her, because I don't want Sasha Banks to win the championship clean. I actually do want Bayley to come. I want Bayley's match to happen first against Charlotte. Obviously, she retains, and I want Bayley to screw Becky out of the championship, which gives her motivation to go against Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship, at Hell in a Cell. And here's the ticker. Sasha Banks helped Bayley win. They didn't have a match inside the cell, but they had a match early on the night. Becky loses because Sasha Banks screwed her over. And these two women are basically becoming a power trip. So, and then in order to help Sasha later on, Bayley is trying to get in, but Becky is coming out. It's like, no. And because she's still furious at the both of them. So I really do like that. And then, of course, on top of the cage, Sasha Banks is obviously one of the women who would love to do something crazy like that. So we go after the crazy spot. Becky's trying everything in her power to stop Becky. Becky is doing everything in her power to stop Bayley from really interfering, but because Dana Brooks was taken out on top of the cage, 2-on-1, they are able to handcuff Becky. They go back up, grab Dana, take her back down, and just double team her until finally 1, 2, 3, Sasha Banks retains. So now we already have, for Survivor Series, we already have Becky Lynch and Bayley. No, we don't. We have Sasha Banks and Bayley, and Becky Lynch and Dana Brooks teaming up. So who is going to end up being the team to round out? And here's a also interesting caveat. Charlotte Flair is out. She will not be a part of it.
So it's interesting, who are the heel females that we got to work with?
We have Fire and Desire. We have.
We also have the Iconics.
Dana. We have the Iconics. Charlotte Flair Light.
Lacey Evans.
Thank you. We have Lacey Evans.
Who already has pre-existing issues with Becky Lynch.
Yes, exactly. So Sasha Banks. So that's definitely one. Sasha Banks and Bayley. Wow, why are their names so similar? That's so frustrating. Bayley and Sasha Banks will go up to Dana Brooks and recruit her. It's like, yeah, you get to.
Lacey Evans?
Yes, recruit Lacey Evans and be like, yeah, you will totally get to get your revenge on Becky Lynch. Join our side. And because, even though I'm not a fan of her, but storyline reasons, because Natalya has been having a tiff with Dana Brooke, with Lacey Evans, Becky Lynch and Dana Brooks comes and be like, hey, Natalya, please join our side, join our cause. So now we have 3. We just need 2 more on each team. And I'm thinking it should be someone who will help go to the Royal Rumble, to help storyline leading up to Royal Rumble. And for the women's side, because Bayley and Becky Lynch, nope, because Bayley and Sasha Banks are still so salty about losing their title, they're going to try to, they're also, after Hell in a Cell, attacking the women's tag team champions. So Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, they are teaming up now with the faces. And because we'll say they've had an elongated feud for the context of this booking, Fire and Desire, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are now on team heels. So we're not going to go full into it, but which team wins?
To give an alternate storyline idea, I could also give on the heel team Fire and Desire as tag team champs. They're the new women's tag team champs. And then on Team Faces, their number 1 competition for it right now the Kabuki Warriors. That's alternate reality. We can go with yours.
Okay.
I was mostly moving because I wasn't even really sure where I should put Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross right now as heel faces.
Right now, they're tweeners with a slight more babyface appeal, and I can totally see what you mean. That dude's tie is massive.
Yeah, it's way too wide.
It's huge. But yeah, so which team should win in this
like one of those
scenario?
flaps that you wear in a tuxedo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the ones that would bump up in the comedies.
Exactly.
Yes. Team that should win.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it should go back to the faces this time to keep momentum moving, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So you also agree with that?
Yeah, I like it. I do. But I'm thinking that I'm not the biggest fan of back and forth, but I do believe it should somewhat go like that. And I think the first person out should be Natalya. Not just because I don't like her or anything.
And I mean,
for storyline purposes only.
And also, to be fair, you're saying back and forth, but we did have heels win at Clash of Champions and Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the point in the storyline where the faces have to make a return, or else it's just repetitive and there's no reason for them to feud anymore.
But yeah, if the heels won at Survivor Series, then all of those women are completely done for, and
you don't have a leg to stand on saying you deserve another match unless you just.
No, I was just talking about eliminations, and within the match, where it's like this person face eliminated, heel eliminated, face eliminated, heel eliminated. I like a little bit more nuance than just that kind of back and forth. I was completely for you for getting the faces to win. I honestly thought you were going to have the heels win. But yeah, I think Natalya should be the first one to be eliminated because it would give a huge disadvantage for the faces, which means they really need to come together and team up. And then because she is still the greenest one out of the 5, say goodnight to Lacey Evans. She went over on her feud, which is the right thing because they need to be building up Lacey Evans way better than what they are. And then she finally gets taken out. And then I think it should be a back-to-back for the faces. And it would be first Dana Brooke, then Nikki Cross. Because let's face it, your two biggest names on the faces team would be Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch, and they are the two that need to be there. And then after that, then goes down Mandy Rose. Then after a huge fought battle, Sonya Deville gets taken out.
Very bold of you not to make her the lone survivor for a team.
It took everything inside of me, I know. But it doesn't. It's not what the story is for. So now we have a tag team champion alone versus two people who are gunning for that championship and trying to get that championship for the next pay-per-view. They're tag teaming on her. They're doing everything that come. Nikki Cross comes back. We have a ref bump, so that way she can do this. She's attacking both the other women, but it doesn't matter. They use a weapon. They take out Nikki Cross. With the same weapon, they take out Alexa Bliss. 1, 2, 3. We see the visual pin on the tag team champions for for Sasha Banks and Bayley, which gives them a reason to then go further and possibly at Royal Rumble fight for those championships. That leaves Becky all alone against the two women who've been a thorn on her side, and then she does eventually first Bayley, then Sasha, finally overcomes, which gives her even more motivation to then win at the Royal Rumble. Because I think we should have no women's championship matches except for the tag team championships at Royal Rumble this year. If it goes down this way, most likely would not. But what do you agree with the order that I picked?
Sounds good.
I was trying to think logically with the faces winning and with the best storytelling implications leading on to the future, which we already know that WWE does not do. They are literally doing it on the fly week to week. But and the last thing, while she's celebrating, we finally have Charlotte Flair make her appearance after she lost to Bayley. She is just not on TV for most of the, and she's having little bitty feuds of people she should be above, but she's just been in this down place that she has to build herself back up, which is the only way you're going to turn her face. You can't just do it because someone attacked her. She has to really fight for it. So Charlotte Flair comes back out. She looks at Becky with the win. She looks at Sasha and Bayley after they both lost, and that's a good, because apparently everybody wants to see a WrestleMania main event be the Four Horsewomen Fatal 4-Way. I don't understand it. I don't know why, but that's what people are wanting. So to play it to the fans, that gives you that visual of looking at Becky fighting against all odds to overcome the two who are hurting, and then returning after all these wins, a newly formed babyface Charlotte Flair. This would be really good for for all four, and it then gives more storylines into the future. Any last thoughts on all of it?
No.
Okay, well then that was how we would book the women's main event scene. And you were surprised I was gonna say Dana Brooke the whole time, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking most of all, and I just said Dana Brooke. So
I feel like she has a lot to offer, and she would be. She's been in WWE for quite some time now. She deserves a little bitty bone to chew on. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But let's move on to the sixth, the penultimate, the most invigorating segment that we have. It is what do you think? It's where we take a question formed within our own minds about the wrestling world, and we ask our fellow compadres, what do you think? And Liam, what do you think of Bloodsport now that you saw a little bit of their pre-show?
I think it seems pretty entertaining. Nice, fast pace.
Mm-hmm.
Make it look realistic while also still doing a lot of big maneuvers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I like the format there. Now we're gonna have a women's match coming up here. Hopefully,
isn't Sumie Sakai from that? Obviously, she's Joe Stardom.
Don't know enough about Stardom.
Okay.
Tell you. But yeah, so see more of it. I may even go and pay. I think they said it was $20 for the pay-per-view itself.
Wow, that's actually not that bad.
It's not that bad. See more of it. Maybe, who knows, in the future you have an entire faction or something built more around the concept. As it's an interesting break there. That's one of the things I always go with, is that when watching wrestling, it looks unrealistic in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
From for mostly just simple things. I'm not just talking about the big, fantastic stuff. But even like simple things, it doesn't seem like it would go with an actual fight. Like even just some of the grappling, it's say like if you have someone in like the the wrist lock and all, it doesn't seem like they're actually trying to fight out of it like or a headlock. It doesn't seem like they're trying to fight out of it like an actual.
Yeah, they're just sitting there like trying to maneuver.
And it can take being pretty slow actually compared to actual fighting and wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is nice in between. If anything, I would love to see what someone like Jim Cornette actually would have to say about it. Because if anything, this is actually more old school than him. Because this would be like what the original guys did. Because the original concept of professional wrestling was to make a realistic looking fight, but make it more interesting. Just because a lot of the public was getting very bored because it was just so much grappling and matches could last for so long. I think like one match for a championship lasted over 3 hours because both guys were so evenly matched, and it ended in a draw because eventually all the crowd left and they were on like their second or third referee because the other referees like they couldn't keep up with it, and like they were like passing out and having to go to the back. The third referee came out and just called it. So it was like, so they wanted something to like spruce it up and give it more entertainment, so it's it would give the people what it wants. But then it kind of kept going to more storytelling based as it went on. So this is actually really more of a throwback to the very old days, even before. You can even look at like pre-George type of guys. So it'll be interesting what they think.
100%.
And you also got like when they had to do stuff like Tales of the Tape type things like that, more realistic fight feel. So this very interesting.
And surprising, this is all the same pre-show.
Yeah.
This is the third match.
That's why I wasn't really going. That's why I didn't want to do the pre-show as well. Just get to the main event because it was a lot of matches throughout the whole night. So I just didn't want to keep going on. Just wanted to get for like the main stuff. Over there, and it seems like the Joshi wrestler sees that doing for the first time tonight to be someone going out there without shoes. Everyone else has actually had like some type of foot protection on there. You never know how that could change up things, like stomping on the feet, That was a thing because like most MMA used to have shoes, but then they dropped that. So I think UFC now and some of the other ones you can't wear shoes out. Some you probably can still do, but that's why a guy like Matt Riddle is just more used to fighting with bare feet. That's why he still does it. And probably because he doesn't even like shoes to begin with. I mean, he's just always around in his flip flops.
Yeah, he seems like that's his style. Outside of professional life, like in his personal life, just a barefoot kind of guy. Yeah.
And here we also get to see another power dynamic that we didn't really get to see because it's been a lot more of equally sized guys. You have a much. That's a smooth transition there. But you get a smaller woman versus a bigger woman, stronger. So it's getting to see fight out there. There's a lot of drafting going on here, back and forth. Interesting stuff. And it's no pinfall, so it's knockout or submission.
Yeah, knockout or submission only.
Yeah. And that also coincides with like a TKO as well. It's not like a physical, they have to be unconscious type thing. But if anyone's watched actual MMA or boxing, you would understand. They're not. If it's at the point where they're not able to defend themselves, then they call the match. But yeah, so I guess my question is what is your thoughts on free Churro not winning that anything?
I believe it is a travesty. It was one of the best episodes of the season and the series. So it definitely should have won. But I mean, what can we do? You know?
Yeah. Just have to sit there and read.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know, other things that won for miraculous reason. You know the what's that? The late night guy that has the carpool karaoke. Was it James Gordon or something like that?
Yes.
But you know, he won an Emmy for, it was like a technical award for his, like, best camera work or something. For like one of his things, and it's like, just put a camera right in front of the front of the car window.
He won camera work for just that?
Yeah, it was for like the episode of him and Paul McCartney.
Wow.
Let me look it up to. I don't know. Pretty sure it's something James. Let me see. Carpool karaoke. Emmy. James Corden. Not Gordon. Corden. Carpool karaoke just won the best technical direction. What it is the carpool karaoke. It's just camera pointed into the car. It's bad enough that when I type in carpool karaoke, the third down on suggested is carpool karaoke won over this.
Oh man.
Because a lot of people are upset.
Oh, Sumie Sakai got the victory here.
Oh, that's great.
Got her in like a kind of like that leg submission that Carmella has. Kind of looked like that.
Yeah, like the cat scissors type deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's you know, even there you see some storytelling of kind of David versus Goliath-esque battle.
Mm-hmm.
That was that clearly must have meant that the internet audience thought it was like an 8 stars, I guess, judging by Tyler vs. Walter.
Right.
And look, it didn't have to last 40 minutes.
Exactly.
We kind of got the point across that one is smaller and fighting for her life. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of Beyonce stans are upset because of because she got shut out. She had like a concert thing, like a televised concert event, and it got completely shut out. And one of the things was called karaoke, winning best, best direction. You can just see all the great directing that must have gone into that. Think of the hours they spent on interesting shots. And like I said, I think it's the one with Paul McCartney, so not necessarily this, but still.
Even if it's not your thing, even if you were disappointed or whatever, the technical direction of Game of Thrones, of American Horror Story, of The Walking Dead, and other shows out there that are just The Boys or what have you. Are you kidding me? That? Just a camera, one single camera, pointing inside of a car, and all they're doing is listening to their music and singing along? That is a joke.
Yeah.
That is just an absolute joke and travesty.
It's not even driving the car. It's on it's being pulled, it's being towed around. But it's like, but yeah, even if you like the concept, you still have to go with the fact that best technical direction doesn't make any sense there.
Not at all.
It
right.
does.
So what we want you to do?
Some people could look at it as more of a
dance to your music.
It's like, what's my emotions here? What am I trying to convey?
What does your music?
You're playing yourself.
What does your music say to you? Okay, that's what we want.
It's like
Okay.
It's like just be yourself, be Paul McCartney. It's like I'm not Paul McCartney. Do. You're playing right into the whole Paul dead. And please, yeah.
That is just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like minimal, like real no camera real direction. It's like it's the only shot I think you can really pull this off.
Mm-hmm. Unless, of course, there's cuts to like the driver's side and then the passenger side and then from behind and then an above shot where you can see it. But there isn't that. It's just one solitary stagnant camera.
I mean, like to be fair here, it doesn't even have to be in the car.
I mean,
there's no real technical purpose for
I mean,
car.
Think of it this way: we are halfway to making our own image.
Yeah. Technical direction for the win.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's not even like you could have done a situation where you turn, like when the music starts, you almost turn into like a driving music video, where you'll have like shots of it, like driving by. They call it driving by areas, like to set up the scene. But it's not even that. There's nothing in there. It's just
that is absolutely ridiculous.
One camera angle. It's an interview. I don't even know what you have to direct there.
I mean,
you can literally.
People are saying that YouTubers and stuff are not doing better work than that when they are.
I mean, you can literally just give it to any late night show,
right?
And it would just been the same thing. It's just not in the car. Is that what people are into? It's just not in the car. They have to sit around in a hot car. It's hot as well because they can't have air conditioning because it messes with the mics. It's too loud and like there's a grunt being dragged around in a hot car for a day being recorded.
I mean, I guess that's what we got to do in order to get those views up. Wrestling reactions in a hot car.
Being dragged around. Hey, we can use your car. It has no air conditioning already. It's perfect.
Well, haha, we got it fixed.
Oh.
I hope.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's what we thought about the two things we decided to bring up. So let's move on to our next, our final segment of the show. It is the mailbag, where we take questions outside of our own minds that we gathered from you guys watching or from people anywhere else, and well, we ask them of you. So let's see if we got lucky. No, we did not, but that's okay. That is still okay. Any questions you can think of outside that we've seen on there? Well, there is one thing I wanted to ask last week.
Many questions outside the Emmy.
There's one thing I did want to see. I did want to ask last week that I forgot, but now I remember, and it's about the Fiend. What are you thinking about? Or what are your thoughts on the Fiend, like, and all that? How do you think it's going?
I think it's going fine. I mean, I haven't been seeing the Firefly Funhouse stuff, so it's hard to say. But what I've actually seen from it, though, I thought has been very good.
What do you think about their direction with their character?
I think it has a lot of potential. There's a lot to work with there, so it's builds interest, which a good character should do. I don't know. I guess I'm a person who's not also freaked out easily, so I guess there's some things like I definitely wasn't freaked out with the comes to the head lantern. I thought it looked kind of cool, but I wasn't freaked out by it. But I can understand how normal people may be freaked out by it.
Not so much freaked out by it, but more just.
I think there's some normal people being freaked out by it.
Yeah, there were, especially the kids. They did not like that visual at all.
It can be so sensitive. Like I was thinking of seeing today some stuff from, like looking back on some stuff from, was it Poppy? That's like, and saw like an interview it seems like it's so weird because like the interviewers, I don't know if they're just like, you know, or something, but they make it act like it sounds so weird, and it's like, it doesn't really sound weird. It doesn't sound odd to me. And it's like, okay, I got it. Playing a character.
Mm-hmm.
It's not weird or anything. Apparently, I heard that it's like, apparently MacPat and other people make conspiracy theories. It's like, what's the conspiracy theory? It's an art student. Well, yeah, well, not like a physical art student, but it's basically an art project.
Mm-hmm.
Think of what the other things is and be weird. See something like Wall, for instance. I think in art school, they were a whole bunch of people from that got together in art school to make a band together.
Mm-hmm.
So their whole stuff was really extreme. Like they're aliens that came down. They created music. I think they created music. They said when they ripped open the guts of a dinosaur once and then strung the tendons over a canyon and then played them, and that's when they created music on Earth.
Those guys are really funny.
Yeah.
So who are your who do you tend to like more, Guar or Lordy?
Guar.
Okay.
Guar.
I'm more of a Lordy kind of guy. I think it's because of Lordy has more harmonies and melodies than Guar, but they're both really fun.
I mean, have Guar. They made it to Kids Next Door.
They were in the show Codename Kids Next Door.
They did music for him.
That's awesome.
Under the name of Rog, which is the name just spelled backwards. They redid some of their music to place it. If people
so
have seen
cool.
it, they may remember the one with Grandma Stuffins, where she had a musical episode.
I'm gonna have to rewatch this. That's so cool.
Yeah,
they're fun.
I was like, I don't know, I guess desensitized to that or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, yeah, I guess but it still works though. I guess the target demographics probably still weirded out by it, allows him to be a good villain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm enjoying his work. I really like his work in the Firefly Funhouse. I think he's doing a lot of good stuff there.
I'd like it to go maybe to more extreme angles.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see a new puppet that's the Finn Balor puppet that's actually Finn Balor. But
with strings attached and stuff.
Yeah, strings attached and like
nice.
On his eyes and mouth it's stitches, so it's all stitched up.
Ooh, that would be a creepy image, not gonna lie.
Yeah, see that's what I say, take it up to 10.
Take it up to 11.
Why not 10? Why not just make 10 even bigger?
Because it's 11.
Yeah.
It's such a great movie. Have you seen that full movie yet?
No, not the full movie.
Oh,
this is fine with that, but I mean...
well, one day we are going to watch that full movie together, and then we're going to do a review on it for our other channel. Yeah, so... What are your overall thoughts coming into this episode of Clash of Champions 2019 later tonight?
Overall thoughts? I just hope it doesn't go too. I was watching Stephen Lawson's predictions, and they're like,
there's 11 matches.
Yes, first, so for this one, I'm giving all my, it was like the first match, like giving all my confidence points 11. It's like, God, there's 11? 11.
There's 11. And they're all championship matches, except for one. Oh boy. And I completely feel what everybody here is feeling. Not confident about any predictions in this show. Because nothing is making sense. I wish I could give all of my confidence points to just one. Since you are the champion and we don't really need a tiebreaker because tiebreaker goes to the champion anyway.
To me,
Did you want to do our newly found confidence points style, or did you want to just go 1 point per prediction?
I feel we should keep it going just to.
We will keep it going
To ingrain it
into ourselves.
We can even get more practice out of it.
No problem.
Because
No problem.
we were definitely not ready for it last time.
Not even in the slightest.
I looked back at it even before the thing started, and I was like, why do they give Jurassic Express that much points?
And why did I give Hikaru Shida that many points? Why didn't I just pick Riho was the other thing? But yeah, I totally understand where you're going or what you're saying.
Rio and Kenny were in a tag match in Thailand. I think it was this other picture.
It was. I did see that same picture, and I was like, oh, look at them. I think they're going to be pushing Riho quite strong.
If they give her a full-time contract.
Yes,
She's
exactly.
only had a few show contracts now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a full-time one.
I'm actually hoping for it because she's really good.
Yeah, I was just thinking there was a scenario, but it seems to be overblown by most people. The concept is based around a new law passed in California.
I've heard about it, but I have not gone out of my way to actually read about it.
Yeah, it's really overblown by it, and most people are saying it's going to affect like WWE and stuff, but it actually isn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really a big news topic to talk about for wrestling's sake, but it will just be something to change the concept of independent contractors in California.
Mm-hmm.
But it will only affect California companies.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't affect WWE or AEW.
Because they're based out in a completely different state.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize this. You can work inside of a different state and not actually have to go by their laws.
Yeah.
Like if you're from and you have an ID that's Mississippi and you go to Louisiana to do some work, you are not bound by their laws when it comes to taxes and stuff, because your taxes is Mississippi only. So a lot of people actually, and just to give you an idea, we have in Louisiana, we do not really recognize unions here still, which can be good or bad.
It's a concept of you don't have to be a part of a union to be in an occupation. You're not forced to, like in other states where to be a part of a certain position or job, you have to be a part of a union.
Yeah, exactly.
But of course, still is unions here.
Well, yes, there are, but they're not they're not going to be the union laws don't have to be upheld by the state of Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
You can so let's say I'm working on a movie and I sign a contract for Louisiana. I necessarily do not actually have to get paid more for doing, let's say I'm doing a stunt and they're like, oh, we actually want it to be in the rain, so we're gonna use our rain machine and drench you. If you were in a union outside of the state, or signed a contract outside of the state, you would get extra money for that. But Louisiana wouldn't. If you're signed in Louisiana, they would not actually have to pay that extra money. Sometimes they'll give you a bump for it, and sometimes they just won't. And however, if you signed your contract outside, but they still film here, they're obligated to then give you that money because of where your contract is signed. Because a lot of people, like if you're an actor and you get a job opportunity, they say make sure you sign an out-of-state contract because you will get screwed, which is true.
So so this won't affect WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen it reported by some people. I think Wrestling Observer and some other groups have reported it, saying that it will affect them, but it will actually, and it won't do it. That's more of an error on their part for not checking in on the specifics of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But and if somehow it does, that just means California is not going to get a lot of money That's going to really ruin their revenue stream. Because it's not just WWE that are like that. There's still a lot of other companies as well that still use WWE business practices.
I haven't looked too much into it, so I don't know how it will impact overall. I just looked up to the point that it won't actually affect WWE. It was like, okay, it's not a wrestling news for us. We'll let business channels handle the further implications. Yes.
Yeah. Any final questions you can think of?
Are you excited for tonight?
I'm excited for the opportunity to get all of my predictions wrong because I'm not confident on what I'm about to do.
How about for Full Gear? You know, when we said,
I am excited about Full Gear, yeah.
You know, when we said we did leave with the fact that at the time we did have Moxley versus Kenny match announced last week.
Which is good because that means Moxley will be coming back sooner than I feared.
Yes, and they did say...
That's in Japan or in...
Those Japanese characters.
Or China. I think that's Japanese. It could be Chinese. I don't know. That's just such a pretty location.
I feel like the water is too good to be China.
That's such a pretty location.
I remember was like mid-2020s. They were gonna lose about 70%. Like 70% of the water is gonna be, well, at least 50% on up is gonna be to a point where it can't even be used as gray water. Which, if you know the characteristics, gray water is the water that's used for. You can use it for manufacturing. It's not something that you could ever drink or clean yourself with, but it's used for manufacturing. So it's not even going to be up to the standards of just like washing off something.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Oh my word.
Yeah, it's getting real bad.
I think you and I are going to Japan soon, and just to, cause I wanna see this place in real life.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Get there before, you know. Even more hell breaks loose.
Oh yeah.
Hey, who knows what's gonna happen with Hong Kong?
No one. But yeah, I guess that's the end of the show. Because in 15 minutes after we do our private predictions, we're actually going to announce our predictions to you. And then we're going to take a little break before Clash of Champions starts at 6 o'clock. But yeah, in 15 minutes we will be right back. Thank you guys so much for watching the podcast. We really, really appreciate it. Please comment down below what your thoughts are on everything we talked about. And thank you so much for watching. Please give us those sexy likes.
And the unsexy ones.
And after that, you might as well share this video and all of our videos to your friends.
And enemies.
Come on, guys. If you're doing all of that, please subscribe to the channel so that way you're a part of the Smarky family. And then ring the notification bell because...
I want to get notified for when we go live for our podcast shooting with the Smarky family every Sunday at 1 Central Time normally, a little delayed today, and also for when we go live for pay-per-views inside and outside the WWE.
Yes, exactly.
And just anytime we post videos, information, polls, things like that.
Yeah, any and everything.
Get notified and get updated because YouTube probably won't tell you about it.
Yeah, and then keep on subscribing, keep letting your friends know about us because it helps a lot. Yes. Please follow me on Twitter at IsaJ_STP.
Follow me on Twitter at Liam_SWA.
And until next time, it will be awesome.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye. Have a good day.